guys, we're going to do our 14-6 math lesson. And parents, I have to tell you, I am super excited that you are going to be able to help us with this activity. Usually when we're in the classroom, we get lots of interesting answers for this, as I'm sure your little one would yell out today as well. But with you being there, there will be some help in guiding them to the actual time that these things happen in their life. So your paper looks like this, and this is asking us to kind of predict or guess when these things happen in a day. And we're doing it to the nearest hour. So you guys remember last time we were together on Friday, we were talking about when the big hand points to the 12, that tells me I'm going to say o'clock. And the little hand points to the 3, I would say 3 o'clock. And so you have your interactive clock. Again, parents, I'm going to have you kind of go there, give them a few times to find. You don't have to do a lot. Just give them like five different things to do on the clock. Have them do that, moving the hands, finding the numbers. All of that is beneficial and reinforcement for them. So you guys have your interactive clock. Miss Freeman has her big yellow clock. So he is right here that I'm going to use today. And so we're going to go about this, and I'm going to point to the times that Miss Freeman chooses on her paper, but your time might look different. Today's the day where everybody's answers are going to be different answers. So I'm not going to be holding up my paper as much on the front because this is up to you. Like, you may go to bed at a different time than me or my kids or your friend next door. So you guys can decide and work that out with your parents, and you're going to fill them in with me, though, as we go. So the first one, that's what it's asking. See how the person's in bed? Little monkey. It's nighttime outside. So it's asking us, what time do you go to bed at night? So usually in the classroom, parents, I hear all kinds of fun times. Like, sometimes I go to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning. You know, you never know. And maybe for some of them, that's true. So anyway, you're going to help guide. At my house, my kiddos are in bed by 9. That's just kind of our rule of thumb. And so I would represent that on my clock. That hour hand is going to go all the way to the 9. And my minute hand is going to be up there at the 12. And so my kids' bedtime at my house is 9 o'clock. And so on my paper, I'm going to put a 9 there. But you might go to bed at 8 o'clock. So you're going to write an 8 there. So parents, if you'll help kind of guide them to know where to put that number. Excellent. Now, our next one is lunchtime. So if we were at school, Miss Freeman always does it on school time. Now, you might have lunch at a different time at your house right now. Like Miss Freeman's having a little bit of a later lunch now that we're at home. So usually we have lunch at school. If we were at school, we have lunch at 11 o'clock at school. But since Miss Freeman's been home, I've been having lunch about 12 o'clock. So you could put either one of those times on your paper. I'm going to go with 12 o'clock for my lunchtime. Now, your one at the top, it's asking you, what time do you get to school? Well, we're not going to school right now because we're kind of, we're at home. But we're going to base it like if we were going to school. And this one will be the same for everybody. So in a roundabout way, we're not going to necessarily focus on when we get to school. We're going to focus kind of when our school day starts. So most of us, give or take a few minutes, we arrive at school about 8 o'clock in the morning. So we're going to write 8 o'clock up there where my friend is getting to school. And now this one is always tricky. You see the friend in the last one? He's yawning. He's waking up. And so we're going to base this on a school day. Like a normal school day if you were coming to school. So I know now, like Miss Freeman's sleeping in a little bit. You guys probably are too. You're not probably getting up as soon as you would if we were at school. But if we have an 8 o'clock start time at our school, what time do you guys get up in the morning? When we were in school, Miss Freeman got up at 6 o'clock. in the morning, close to 6, a little before 6, but I'm going to go with 6 o'clock. You maybe got up a little later than that, depending on how long it took you to get ready for school. So you can help answer that with your parents. All right, we're going to flip over to the inside. And they did numbers 1 through 4 for me. And what they're talking about, you can tell. So there's a couple different things we have to know about time. So we do some things at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we do some things at 8 o'clock at night. So 8 o'clock in the morning is kind of when we would arrive at school. 8 o'clock at night at my house, we're kind of winding down. We've already had showers. We're kind of getting ready for bedtime. So knowing the picture, you kind of got to look, is the sun shining? Is it getting darker outside? What are they wanting me to look for? So the first one is a friend. She's kind of sitting down. It looks like she's looking at her mail, but there's lamps on in the background. And so they're showing us that she's doing that at 8 o'clock at night. But what they want you to do is they want you to trace that 8, and they want you to trace those words, o'clock. You're going to be seeing those words again. So it's really good to know that. And if you already did phonics today, you saw that word clock in phonics because it has that CK ending and it has a CL blend. And then number 2, this is showing us that he's doing this during the day, 8 o'clock, maybe in the morning, he's giving his cat some food. So we're going to put trace there 8 o'clock and move to number 3. Now, on number 3, this friend is driving to work. So this would be like Dad on his way to work, driving. So he does that in the morning. We can tell because the sun shines up, right? Some people go to work at night, but this friend is going in the morning. And so they wrote that he was headed to work at 7 o'clock. And that's what time, if Miss Freeman was coming to school, I leave my house about 7 o'clock in the morning to come to school. And then number 4, I have a friend who's playing soccer. So this would be kind of like maybe you're after school, right? It's like right at the end of our school day, you're going to go do something fun outside. 3 o'clock in the afternoon is what they are showing on that picture. Now, I told you that you guys were going to need your crayons today. And so I am actually going to have your parents help you do this today. It says at the bottom of your paper, you're going to circle the picture with yellow that happens in the morning. So if it was one of the things we discussed that happens in the morning, you're going to circle it with yellow. So that was feeding our cat and making our way to school or work. You're going to use red to show an afternoon time. So that was my friend who was playing soccer. You're going to circle her red because she was doing that in the afternoon. And then something that happens in the evening, you're going to circle with brown. And so that was my friend who was reading her mail in the evening time. So you had yellow for morning, red for afternoon, and brown for evening. And you're just going to circle the picture to show me those parts of the day. Excellent. You can pause the video if you need to and come back. All right, we are on number 5. So now we kind of have to decide what time. So some of us may say, well, my mom does this at a different time, but we're just kind of basing it on what the picture says. And we're going to decide, is that in the morning, is it in the afternoon, or is it in the evening or nighttime? So let's look at number 5. Well, we can tell it's dark outside, right? The moon's up out there. And Mom is finishing up in the kitchen. She's washing the dishes, okay? So we might say that this was maybe 7 o'clock in the evening, right? So you're going to write a 7. Now, for us right now, 7 o'clock is not dark, right? The day is longer. So, but sometimes 7 o'clock is dark outside in the winter. So we kind of have to take that into consideration too as we're talking about time and the events in the order that they happen. Now, number 6, my friend is getting on to the school bus. So that means he's headed to school It's morning, right? This is going to be a morning time. And so probably heading to school about 7. Maybe he's got to be there 7:30, 8 o'clock. So he's heading to school about 7 o'clock in the morning. Number 7. Now, we could have a couple different answers for this one. Looks like this friend's maybe taking a little jog. Maybe he's at a park, running on the sidewalk. So we would do that in the afternoon. Sometimes Miss Welch, Miss Freeman, we go for a walk in the afternoon after school. So we could say maybe that's 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. I'm going to write 3 o'clock. We go for a walk. And then number 8, we have to pay attention to what she's doing. She's got that lamp on. They use that lamp to show us those evening times. So it would be kind of darker. We would turn a lamp on. So she's reading a book. Maybe she's reading a book before bed. And so we would do that around 8 o'clock in the evening. So you're going to do the same thing on this side with your crayons. You're going to circle the picture that happens in the morning, yellow. So look for your picture that happened in the morning. That was my friend who was getting on the bus. You're going to circle it yellow. A red crayon was going to be my afternoon. And so that was the one we talked about, Miss Freeman and Miss Welch going on that walk. You got a little bear who's going for a run, it looks like. That happened in the afternoon. And then we had 2 evening events. You're going to circle these brown. And that was Mom washing the dishes and my friend who was reading their book before bed. So I'm going to hold up my paper. I haven't circled the colors. So if you need to go back and listen to those colors, you can do that. But here's the times that we kind of put in so that you can see it. I've traced on this side. You have circled the events, whether they happen in the morning, afternoon, or evening. You're going to take a picture of the inside of your paper today and send it to me. I have attached your interactive clock, so go do that. Make sure you kind of have some practice with it. And I've also practiced a counting to 100 exercise video that you can do today for a little reinforcement as well. Awesome job, guys. We are almost done with our time unit. I will see you again tomorrow for math. Bye.